Welcome to another episode of Terry's Notes, and today we are going to be looking at the January 2016 question 1. Okay, the first part of the question: using a calculator or otherwise, calculate the exact value of 3.6 plus the square root of 51.84, all divided by 3.75. Okay, so the first thing we should do is work the brackets out first. So we leave this as 3.6 plus, and we can use our calculator to work out the square root of 51.84, which is, give me a sec, which is 7.2. So this will be divided by 3.75. So 3.6 plus 7.2 gives me 10.8. So this will be 10.8 divided by 3.75, which is 2.88. Right, so I use the calculator to work this out, and basically I worked out the brackets first and then did the division. Now the part B of the question: in the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows 2 jars of peanut butter of the same brand. Which of the jars shown above is a better buy? Okay, so we have, in the case of A, we have 150 grams being sold for $2.14. And in B, we have 400 grams being sold for $6.50. Now, this is something that you would typically see in a grocery. They'll have 2 items of the same thing, of different sizes, and you have to determine which one is a better buy. So let's look at A. In the case of A, we have 150 grams costing us $2.14, right? Therefore, we are actually paying for 1 gram is costing us, to work this out, we just take 1 multiplied by 2.14 divided by 150. So it's 2.14 divided by 150, and that will give me 2.14 divided by 150, and that gives me in dollars 0.0143. In the case of B, we have 400 grams costing us $6.50. Therefore, we are actually paying for 1 gram. We're paying, I'll do the same thing again, so it'll be 6.50 divided by 400, and this will give me 6.5 divided by 400, and that is 0.0163 approximately. Alright, so in the case of A, we notice that we are paying $0.0143 for 1 gram, right? And in the case of B, we are actually paying 0.0163. Therefore, we are actually paying more for B than A, right? So therefore, the better buy is actually A. because it's costless, right? It's 0.0143 dollars when compared to $0.0163. Okay, so whenever you have a comparison, you just need to find the cost per unit, and then you are able to compare. Okay. The reverse of this is that we could have found the amount of grams of peanut butter we are getting for $1, right? Or this is another way we could have worked this. We know that 150 grams cost $2.14, right? What I could have done in the case of B, I could have said 400 grams cost me $6.50, right? And I can work out how much does 150 grams cost me. And I will get 150 multiplied by 6.50 all over 400. And that will give me, let's see, 150 multiplied by 6.5 divided by 400, and that gives me $2.44. So that'll be $2.44, right? So A, 150 grams of A cost me $2.14, whereas in the case of B, 150 grams is really costing me $2.44. So again, B is costing me more. So therefore the better buy is still A. Okay, so you can do this question in two ways. Basically find the cost for 1 gram of each and then compare the price. Or we work out, in the case of B, we work out the cost of 150 grams and then we can do a comparison. Okay, now in part C, we have Thomas invested $1,498 at 6% simple interest per annum. Calculate. So the first part we want to know what is the interest in dollars earned after 6 months. So you should commit this formula to memory. So simple interest is equal to principal by rate by time over 100, where principal is the amount of money you invested, rate is the rate of interest, and T is in time in years. So in the first part, they want what is the interest in dollars. So the principal was $14.98. Now this is just a straight substitution here. What you have to be careful with is what you substitute into the formula. So the rate is 6% per annum. So we just put 6 multiplied by what is the time. Now I said time is in years, right? But in the question they asked me for 6 months. So 6 months is really 6 over 12, which is equal to 0.5, right? Because time is given in time is given in years. So therefore this will be, you have to put 0.5 here, not 6, all over 100, right? And we use a calculator to work this out. So 1498 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 0.5 divided by 100. So we get 44.94. So that is $44.94 is our interest. So that is part 1. Now for part 2, the total amount of money in his account after 3 years. Now we have a different time now. So what we do, we work out the interest again, but this time for 3 years. So it'll be 1498 multiplied by the same interest rate of 6% per annum multiplied by the time, which is 3 years, all over 100. And this will be 1498 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 3 divided by 100. which gives me 260. That gives me 269.64. Right? So now that is just interest. So we want the total. So the total amount after 3 years would be the 1498 that he originally invested plus the interest, which is 269.64, and that will give me, so plus 1498 and that gives me 1767.64. Right? So this is the first part. This is the second part, right? So we found the simple interest after 3 years and we added it to the principal, and this is the total amount he has in his account. Now the last part, the third part, how long will it be before his investment earns $449.40? So in this case, they gave us the simple interest and they want how long? So they want time. So in order to get time will be 100 multiplied by the interest all over principal by rate. Okay, now you don't need to, if you can, memorize the formula, but all I did was rearrange this, the original formula we have, which is interest is equal to principal by rate by time over 100. To rearrange that, all we do, we cross multiply, so we end up with 100i over principal by rate. Okay, so it will be 100 multiplied by the interest, which is 449.40, all over principal, which is 1498, by the rate, which is 6%. Let's see what that gives us. So that'll be 100 multiplied by 449.40 divided by 1498 multiplied by 6, and that gives us a round number of 5. So it'll take 5 years for his investment to earn $449.40. Okay.